I can solve two-step word problems using a letter for the unknown and determine if my answer is reasonable. Let's take a look at this sample. C divided by 6 equals 5. Well, C is an unknown that you can solve for using a fact family or mathematical sense. You might say, well, what's 5 times 6? Kind of reverse it in the fact family. And know that C is 30. This is reasonable because it makes sense. 30 divided by 6 equals 5 when I substitute back in. On a vacation, your family travels 267 miles on the first day, 194 miles on the second day, and 30 miles on the third day. How many total miles did they travel? Let's take a look at what we know. We know day 1 is 267 miles. Day 2 is 194 miles. Day 3 is 34 miles. And your total distance is D miles. I use D as the letter to represent an unknown. I don't know how many total. Day 1 plus day 2 plus day 3. So this is the first thing I want to figure out. Just add up all three. These 267 plus 194 plus 34. You can see when I went to set up my equation, I did that. I did 267 plus 194 plus 34 equals D. There's my unknown. If I add all these up, I'll have the total. So that's all I have to do here is just add them up. So I'm going to start with 267 plus 194. Set it up like that, add it up, figure out my sum. 7 plus 4 is 11. Regroup. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 9 is 16. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. So I have 461 plus 34. So that's my second step. 461 plus 34. 1 plus 4 is 5, 6 plus 3 is 9, nothing to regroup, 4 plus nothing is 4. So 495 equals D. This is a pretty straightforward problem. The question is, how do I figure out if it's reasonable? Well, when I'm dealing with larger numbers, I want to round and add them together. In this case, I have three numbers. The lowest place value is the tens for these, so 34. That's going to dictate I round all three of them to the tens place. 267, 7 says round up, so it would be 270. 194, the 4 says round down, so it would be 190. And 34, the 4 says to round down, so it would just be 30. Add them up. 3 zeros is 0. 7 plus 9 is 16, plus 3 is 19. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 more is 4, so I have an estimate of 490. It's pretty close to 495, so I'd have to say my answer is reasonable in this case. Let's take a look at a second example. The soccer club is going on a trip to the fair. The cost of attending the trip is $37. Included in that price is $16 for lunch and 3 game tickets. How much is 1 game ticket? So we've got to look at here. This is talking about 3 game tickets and the price. So that has to be something we consider as we solve this problem. What we know, the total is $37. Lunch is included, that's $16. And the game ticket is included. I put that as G because we want to know the price of 1 game ticket, not all 3. But we have to get to all 3 in order to figure that out. Here's kind of a picture I drew of this problem. You have $37, that's my total, and that equals 16 plus game ticket, plus game ticket, plus game ticket. Because the game tickets are all going to be the same number. If I can figure out what one of them is, I know what all 3 of them were. So that's why, G, G, G. Now with the equation I came up with, it kind of shows how I add these all up to get my total. G plus G plus G plus 16 equals 37. What you have to do now is take the step of knowing that repeated addition is like multiplication. So G plus G plus G is really like saying 3 times G. Whatever G is, if I multiply it by 3, I'll have this number because I just added it up 3 times. It's the same thing. Now I still have to add 16 and that's going to equal 37. What I want to do is think of this as one thing, though. 3 times g. Think of it as just one variable. You could even call it like a square. You could say square plus 16 equals 37. And what you're going to do is think in the fact family, how would I figure that out? What plus 16 is 37? Well, I could do 37 minus 16. So what you'll do is you will do 37 minus 16 is going to equal 3 times g. You have to take away the 16 from the 37. That will leave you with just the number for 3 game tickets. If you go back to that picture, it's how much are the 3 game tickets by themselves worth. So get rid of the cost of lunch. Get rid of that. 37 minus 16. 37 minus 16, that is 21. So 3 times g equals 21. Well, this is a little more straightforward now. What times 3, g times 3, is going to give me 21? All right, now I just do another fact family. Well, 21 divided by 3 would equal g in this fact family. So now I'm like, okay, well, what's 21 divided by 3? Oh, that's 7. All right. Now, how do I go back and figure out if 7 is a reasonable answer? You come all the way back up here. G plus G plus G plus 16. Well, let's add it all up. 7 plus 7 plus 7. 3 game tickets plus lunch. Does that equal 37? That's what I need to figure out. 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21 because it's 3 times 7. Plus 16. 21 plus 16, well, 1 plus 6 is 7, 2 plus 1 is 3, so it does equal 37, meaning my answer is reasonable. I can solve 2-step word problems using a letter for the unknown and determine if my answer is reasonable. All right, this problem should look familiar. The football club is going on a trip to the zoo. The cost is $43. Included in the price is $13 for lunch and 3 show tickets. How much is 1 show ticket? I want you to write an equation with a letter and determine if your answer is reasonable.